So where was this type of reaction last year when Angel Reese got chokeslammed by Alyssa Thomas of the Connecticut Sun? Y'all remember that? She got fouled so hard, they kicked Aaliyah Thomas out the game with a flagrant 2 foul. What did Angel Reese do? Nothing. She didn't get up and try to swing on her. You know why? The reaction was different because of who did it. And there is a lot of history there with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese.
I don't know why they had all those weird ass think pieces about it. Robert Griffin III, his tweet was fucking disgusting.
What he say?
Bro, basically saying she hates her. This is why she did that. Shut up. Rob Parker was right. You are a corny ass nigga.
My question, which is just a straight honest question, is he a brother or is he a cornball brother?
Well, now tuned in to the Dark Times channel.
And so here we go again, back with another one. Welcome back to the Dark Times channel. And you know I had to do a video on this one because, as you all know, Angel Reese just graced the cover of NBA2k26. She's going to be on the cover of a new video game coming out next year. And you know the Caitlin Clark fans couldn't stand it. They didn't waste a minute to get on X and start making a lot of the ridiculous remarks that they like to make. And this is one of the comments right here from a user right here. He says, I can't believe NBA 2K decided it was a good idea to put Angel Reese on the cover for their next release. I guess you don't want to sell the game. You put the worst player in the league on the cover because she's black. It can't be her stats. Worst shot percentage. And so ironically enough, Caitlin Clark is having one of the most inefficient years of anybody within the WNBA. And she still got selected to be the team captain of this year's All-Stars. Because Caitlin Clark right now is shooting around 38% from the field goal range and 30% from the three-point line. And in comparison, Angel Reese is shooting around 42% from the field goal range. And she's actually improved almost every area of her game. Every area of her game has gotten more efficient. She's taken less field goals, but she's still averaging the same amount of points. Rebounds is right around the same. Assists have gone up. Steals have gone up. Blocks have slightly gone up. And so she deserves to be on the cover of the NBA 2K. And so I've argued this before with a lot of people. There's no logic when it comes to Caitlin Clark fans. Not all of them, but for the most part, a lot of them don't understand the game of basketball. A lot of them don't care to understand the game of basketball. They show up because it's Caitlin Clark, and they like what they see. And I always say this, if Caitlin Clark was Shaniqua from Baltimore with braids hanging down her back, and she played the exact same way that Caitlin Clark played, nobody would know who she is. That's either true or it's not. But here's the flip side of that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with people liking to watch who they watch for whatever reason. Whether it's the color of their skin, how they walk, how they talk, whether it's their politics, there's nothing wrong with that. But you got to be honest about it, or at least you should be honest about it. You should be okay with being honest about it. But when you try to make it sound like everybody else is crazy for saying one of the reasons, or at least the primary reason, that Caitlin Clark is this popular, it's not simply because she takes a lot of bad shots and shoots a high volume of three-pointers from nearly half court. That's not the only reason. It's primarily because of the color of her skin and the school that she went to, and slightly because of her sexuality. Those three things combined are primarily what makes up a good amount of Caitlin Clark's fandom. And there's nothing wrong with that. But where the problem comes in is when you have fans doing stuff like this. And one user on X chimed in to say, never let them try and tell you the hate isn't about race. And that's exactly what it's about when it comes to Angel Reese. And that's also, ironically enough, exactly where a lot of the love comes when it comes to Caitlin Clark. You really can't have one without the other. This is the Magic Bird scenario. If Larry Bird comes into the NBA by himself, he's not as big. If Magic Johnson comes to the NBA just by himself, he's not as big. But the two of them coming in together, having that racial dynamic, having that college rivalry already, that's what elevated their stardom. And it's the same thing with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. But unfortunately, today we got to deal with social media. Back then, we didn't have social media. Back then, I'm sure Magic Johnson got called everything to his face at the games, and there's nothing he could do about it. But it's a new day and age in which people get to target Angel Reese online. And lo and behold, who pops up to try to save the day? Y'all's boy RG3. The same RG3 that was stirring up the mess a couple of weeks ago.
You guys remember last year when Angel Reese celebrated Kennedy Carter getting that flagrant foul on the hip check against Caitlin Clark? You remember that? On the sideline, just, yeah, baby, get her, you get her. Who celebrates like that?
And so RG3 goes to X to chime in, and he says, all right, this has to stop. There's no place for racism in this world. Whether you like a player or not, Angel Reese should never be called or depicted as a monkey. I have been quiet on the Angel Reese front because she shared a video that aided in my wife, kids, and family and friends receiving death threats, threats of physical harm to my family and friends, and threats of blank violence to my children on social media and beyond. And so right from the jump, he's being dishonest. Angel Reese didn't share any video that aided in that whatsoever. RG3 did that to himself. He made a comment about Angel Reese hating Caitlin Clark, and people chimed in on it, and people had a lot to say. Because when it comes to RG3, it's not about who he's married to or what color of the skin of the person is who he's married to. People could give a damn about that. It's 2025. Lay up with whoever you want to lay up with. But the problem with RG3 is he's such a cornball that he goes around fetishizing his own wife.
When I worked with RG3, he would make all of these sort of corny jokes about milk and how much he loved it and how important it was. And he always points out on social media the color of his wife's skin, as if the color of her skin is what makes her special, as if the color of her skin is what makes her a good wife. I've met the lady, I've had a conversation with her. Right. I think she's more than that. But it also leads to what Black women deal with a lot from Black men who have chose to date or marry outside of their race. They always feel like they have to go the extra mile to prop up the woman that they're married or the woman that they're with over Black women by denigrating Black women.
And others who look like her, talking about how much he loves milk. He loves his wife's white skin. And I've seen it in reverse too. I've seen white dudes who like to fetishize Black women, talking about they love chocolate this and chocolate that. And it's the same energy towards them. That's weird. It's weird and it's uncouth. And so that's why RG3 got the comments and the backlash that he received online. Had nothing to do with Angel Reese. So like I said, right off the get-go, he jumped in coming in deceptive. And then he goes on to say, that will never be okay with me. I never attacked her family when I stated and backed up with clear basketball evidence that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. It's sports. Everybody won't like each other. And then once again, he's being deceptive. He made it sound like it was personal when it came to Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. And Angel Reese never, ever said that she hates Caitlin Clark. Because obviously when it comes to sports, you're always going to have people that play on opposite teams that don't like each other. You're even going to have people on the same team, teammates, that don't like each other. That's just the way it is. But RG3 came out and made it personal with Angel Reese. He made it very personal, talking about that she can't stand Caitlin Clark and she hates Caitlin Clark. Adding fuel to the fire, and he knew exactly what he was doing when he did it. And then he digs further. He goes on to say, people in Angel's inner circle called me and told me I was right, and Angel Reese has grown to hate Caitlin Clark because of the media always asking her about Caitlin and being constantly compared to her. And of course, Angel Reese had to come out later and call that cap as well. And then RG3 goes on to say, some people made it about race, but I never did and never will. Instead of becoming the villain in anyone's story, I decided to just not. All that being said, Angel Reese or any Black man or woman should never be called or depicted as a monkey, ever. Stop it. If you hate Angel Reese because she's Black, you are the problem. If you hate Angel Reese because you're a Caitlin Clark fan, don't turn it racial. There should be no space for racism in this world. Too late, too little. When we tried to tell you it was about race, you kept telling us to shut up. You said, stop hating on Caitlin Clark. Stop hating on my glass of milk. You jigaboos.
Couldn't get it done. He couldn't operate from the pocket. He's not the quarterback of the future. I think he proved all those jigaboos wrong.
And so a lot of people don't want to hear it when it comes to RG3. He's got almost zero credibility when it comes to the community. The only thing that I agree with him on is when he's talking about Deion Sanders.
No one wants to talk about that right now, and I know why. Listen, I know the man that Shedeur Sanders is. I know the man that Deion Sanders is. I have a great relationship with them. This is not about Shedeur's talent because, as I've stated before, he should have been a first-round pick. That's what his tape said, regardless of the name on the back of his jersey.
And I think the only reason why he goes that route when it comes to Deion Sanders is because he probably somewhat grew up idolizing Deion Sanders like a lot of us did. So he probably feels a personal connection. I don't think he feels a connection as far as the community goes, but he feels a personal connection with Deion Sanders. And so that's a personal affinity that he has when it comes to Deion Sanders. But definitely go ahead and chime in on this one. Let's go ahead and keep that conversation going on down below. Let's go ahead and keep the debate going on down below. And for the Caitlin Clark fans in the comment section, yes, I know Caitlin Clark is a good basketball player. I respect her game. A lot of us do. I'm not a fan of it as far as entertainment wise. I just don't like that style of play. I don't like people who dominate the basketball and take a lot of ill-advised shots and dominate the ball in that way. That's just me. That's just my preference. And then on top of that, I don't like individuals that don't dominate on both ends of the basketball. If you're a superstar, you got to dominate on both sides of the ball. For me, that's just my taste. And I know a lot of basketball purists feel that way as well. And I'm consistent because when it comes to Stephen Curry, I feel almost the same way. And a lot of people may not feel that way. I'm probably in the minority when it comes to that, but that's just not my brand of basketball. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, I respect Caitlin Clark's game. She's obviously a phenomenal basketball player. But to me, she's just not all that. And that's okay. That's my preference. That's my cup of tea. But in the same breath, I'm not hating on her. I just call it like I see it. But go ahead and let me know how y'all feel down below. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button for me. And if you're not new to the channel and you've been enjoying the content so far on this channel, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me as well. And as usual, peace and chaos.